Good evening. You're watching the news on Croatian television. Workers at the Uljanik shipyard in Pula began receiving their December salaries today after a rescue loan came through. Uljanik was waiting on the European Commission to approve state guarantees for a €96 million loan that would cover salaries and raw materials for the next few months. Workers had planned to go on strike, but suspended the action yesterday, giving management 48 hours to pay workers. To ensure its long-term survival, Uljanik must undergo restructuring and find a strategic investor.
We in the union are happy, first of all, because of our colleagues who had to wait so long to get paid, longer than at any other time over the past 20 years. We're pleased and believe everyone else is too.
Two construction companies have now filed appeals over the tender to build the Pelješac Bridge. Croatia chose a Chinese consortium for the project, Austria Strabag, and a consortium comprising Italy's Astaldi and Turkey's IC Ichtes say the Chinese bid was unreasonably low. The appeals will be handled by the State Commission for Public Procurement, and this could take some time. Transportation Minister Oleg Butković says this will slow things down, but construction will begin by summer.
I hope the delay won't be too long, perhaps a month or a month and a half. It's difficult to say. It is up to the Commission to clear this up quickly. I'm an optimist when it comes to Pelješac Bridge. These kinds of issues were to be expected. It happens, and this is a big project.
President Kolinda Grabar-Kitarović has taken her office to Krapina-Zagorje County this week. She's been doing this type of outreach since she took office. She says it builds unity and is an opportunity to work together with local communities on issues that affect everyone and aren't clouded by ideology. In her address, she spoke about the economy and, as she has done in the past, threw a light punch at the government.
Often we hear about the country's improving macroeconomic indicators and how the state budget is in good shape. That's very encouraging and we should acknowledge it. However, if the national economy is doing well, that must reflect on the bank accounts of our citizens.
The president's criticism did not go unnoticed by Prime Minister Andrej Plenković, who is headed to Davos tomorrow to attend the World Economic Forum. He responded indirectly to the remark at the opening of today's cabinet session.
The fact that consumption has been rising for 39 consecutive months is a very good indicator. Unemployment is at a record low. The employment rate is going up. We are continuing to give taxpayers a break in 2018. Last year, that amounted to around 2.5 billion kuna. This year, we are planning on around 1.2 billion.
Finance Minister Zdravko Marić says he's glad to see the president is paying attention to Croatia's positive economic indicators and adds that her opinions and criticism are her right and part of her responsibilities as president.
What she pointed out are the very things we are talking about all the time. All these numbers, the GDP, the public debt. Of course, good indicators must reflect on the standard of living. Last year, the average gross salary rose by 4.4%, and when you add the effects of the tax breaks, you get an increase in the net salaries of around 5.5%.
The former chief of Croatia's Military Security and Intelligence Agency and his deputy were sentenced to 3 years in prison today by the Zagreb County Court. Darko Grdić and Ognjen Preos were found guilty of stealing nearly 5 million kuna that had been earmarked by the agency for paying intelligence assets and informants. 2 other defendants received suspended sentences, while a 5th was found not guilty. Both the defendants and the prosecutors are appealing the verdict.
These funds are being made out to be something sinister. This is about black budgets, the kinds of funds used by every intelligence agency, including the VSOA. The money is specific in that you can't trace it like you would in a company. They don't care where the money went. They just want to get rid of these guys because they stepped on somebody's toes while doing their jobs. That's all we can say. Preost says he's being set up. You know I can't give you an answer because the proceedings were sealed. We presented our case. The trial chamber came to a decision after seeing the evidence and considering what was determined as fact.
Croatia's south could face a measles epidemic. The country's two southernmost counties, Split, Dalmatia, and Dubrovnik-Neretva counties, have the lowest vaccination rates in the country, with coverage barely above 60%. The European average is around 90% for children up to the age of 2. An outbreak of the disease in Serbia has increased concerns. The head of the epidemiology department at the Public Health Bureau says that in Dubrovnik alone, there are around 2,200 children between the ages of 1 and 7 who have not been immunized, a high number for such a small city, which raises the risk of an outbreak. In sports, Croatia's Mate Pavic and Austrian Oliver Marach have advanced to the semifinals of the Australian Open in the men's doubles draw after beating Marcus Daniel of New Zealand and Dominic Inglot of the UK 6-4, 6-7, 7-6. Pavic and Marach, who are undefeated this year, will play Ben McLaughlin of Japan and German Jan-Lennart Struff on Thursday for a place in the final. In the men's singles draw, Croatia's Marin Cilic will play Britain's Kyle Edmund in the semifinals tomorrow.
Thursday's forecast calls for partly sunny skies and dry weather in most of Croatia. The North Adriatic and the mountains may see some light rain, especially in the Rijeka area. There will be a moderate to high southwesterly wind in the interior. On the coast, expect a southeasterly wind along the central and south shore and a southwesterly in the north. Morning lows will range from -4 to +1 in the interior and from 3 to 8 on the Adriatic. The day's highs will be mostly between 9 and 14, slightly cooler in the mountains. The 3-day outlook for the interior calls for partly to mostly sunny skies and above average temperatures. A moderate to high southwesterly wind will pick up on Friday. Temperatures will cool off a bit over the weekend, but they will still be well above average for this time of year. Sunny and stable conditions are expected on most of the coast. The north may see some clouds and possibly a bit of rain on Friday. Clouds and rain are expected on the islands and the central coasts on Saturday. There will be a moderate to high southwesterly wind reaching gale speeds by the end of the week and falling late Saturday. On Sunday and Monday, winds will shift to a northeasterly and northwesterly direction.
And that brings us to the end of our program. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow night.